Westmoreland County High School basketball is on the air.
Before we reach the Christmas break, section play continues in the WPIAL boys basketball season here on the Westmoreland Sports Network tonight. Greensburg Central Catholic trying to get back in the win column. The Centurions host the Serra Catholic Eagles in Class 2A Section 3 action. Sean Myers joined by Jack Breidenauer. And Jack, these teams coming off of defeats in their section openers last week for GCC. It was a pretty surprising outcome. They fell 58-54 at Riverview, a game in which the Centurions just really could not put the ball through the hoop from distance. And on the other side, Serra Catholic coming off of a deflating loss in overtime at home against Jeanette, 67-62. So not many people, I don't think, expected these teams to both be 0-1. One of them will be 0-2 after tonight, which makes this game all the more important.
It'll be very important, especially with the Christmas break and the New Year right around the corner, and it's going to be very important that one of these teams tries to get a win before they have a long extended break.
And so the teams making their way onto the court. GCC has a losing record overall. Rarely can you say that about the Centurions. They're just 2-3, including that section loss. On the other side, Serra Catholic also below 500, 2-4 for their Eagles. They have lost consecutive games, as have the Centurions. Although a lot of times when you see teams like this, they play up in competition in the non-section. We'll take a break for the national anthem here at Greensburg Central Catholic.
Good hearing God, thank you, yes, counts, and the strength you give to these athletes. We pray that all who play in this game be protected from physical harm. Help us to play to the best of our ability and charity with that love and respect, especially our coaches, referees, and fellow athletes. May we never react with unkind gestures or anger. We pray for those who stand that they accept without prejudice the rules and decisions of the game. We pray for parents, students, and friends, and thankfulness that have come to support us today. Finally, God, we each of us wisdom and acceptance no matter the outcome of the final score. We believe that you care for us and that we'll never leave us alone. Saints, fashion, the teachers, city of athletes, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And now we raise the flag of the national.
The national anthem gets us ready for tonight's matchup here at Greensburg Central Catholic High School between the Centurions and the Serra Catholic Eagles. A year ago, Jack, these teams split their two meetings with each team winning a road game.
And you look at last year in particular, the last time these two teams met up, especially here at Greensburg Central Catholic, it was one that Tyree Turner for Greensburg Central Catholic would like to forget. Didn't score his first point until about the 4-minute and 17 mark in the second half of that game. So again, something that I'm sure that this Serra Catholic team is going to look at to try and emulate into this one and try and take a little bit of that blueprint from last year and apply it tonight.
From a year ago, Greensburg Central Catholic lost a lot. 3 of their very best players have moved on. None more notable than Brevin Williams now at Carlo. He was an all-state performer, averaged better than 18 points and 7 rebounds per game. Also, Ryan Appleby, now at Seton Hill, averaged more than a dozen and 6 boards. Dylan Parsons, another key component. So it is a new-look team. Only 2 real big-time contributors from a year ago return in GCC, one of whom is Turner, who's making his way onto the floor now. You talked about him averaging nearly 20 per game. The other, Franco Alvarez, a big man, averaging 16 points, nearly 6 boards. On the other side, however, Serra Catholic does bring back the vast majority of their team. Brendan Cooley, the one notable graduation, but aside from him, just about every key contributor back from a year ago.
And one of them in particular who played very well last year here on this very court was Joey DeMoss. Had 17 points, 15 of them coming from beyond the arc. So for Greensburg Central Catholic, they're going to have to really do a nice job locating shooters on this Serra Catholic team with good closeouts and making sure shooters like Joey DeMoss don't have wide open angles at the basket.
This will be the final section game of the 2022 part of the campaign. They will resume section play in early January. These teams will potentially be playing in some games over the holidays. As there you see the standings, and surprising to see that these teams both 0-1. A couple other section games tonight. Leechburg will play its first section game, the Blue Devils at Jeanette, and Riverview at Clairton. Those are 7:30 tip-offs as well. GCC wearing the white, Serra Catholic clad in the gray jerseys, as we welcome you into this matchup here on the Westmoreland Sports Network. First of 2 meetings between these squads here in the regular season as Serra controls the tap. It's DeMoss missing the layup, but an offensive rebound, and DeMoss on the second crack gets the first points.
And DeMoss picking up where he left off last year against this Greensburg Central Catholic team, getting the opening basket here.
DeMoss averaging better than 11 points per game, 5 rebounds as well. Ryan Kimmel, who was not part of the basketball team a year ago, gets it to Alvarez. He's well defended, and the Centurions turn it over. So Kimmel and Jaden Kennedy, a couple of starters, played basketball at Jeanette. Their first year at GCC last year did not play basketball, but they are both not only back on the team this year, they're in the starting lineup. Starters for GCC under the guidance of Christian Highland, fourth-year head coach. 0-0, Ryan Kimmel. Jaden Kennedy wearing number 11 as a backdoor cut, swatted away by Alvarez, and the Centurions keep it alive. There is Kennedy as he quickly dishes to the freshman Samir Crosby, number 12. 13 Tyree Turner and 25 Franco Alvarez, who left that one short, rounds out the starting unit for the home team. We'll look at the Serra starters momentarily as Ward has the basketball, now moves it to Petty. Petty, the leading scorer for Serra this season. Ward puts up a 3-ball, nothing but net for Elijah Ward as he extends the lead to 5-0.
Ward, a great basketball player, but he also can do it on the gridiron as well. A very good football player as he's receiving some interest from the Division III level.
Yeah, played some receiver, played some quarterback for a pretty good Serra Catholic team. The Eagles won the football championship in 2021, came up a little bit shy this year's. Alvarez inside finishes. First points for the home team come courtesy of big Franco Alvarez.
It was a really nice job by Greensburg Central Catholic to figure out that 2-1-2 half-court defense. Picked it apart beautifully, and Alvarez getting freed up for a layup.
Petty lost the handle, taken away by Tyree Turner. Turner looks to push all the way to the cup, can't finish. Couple of teammates battle for it, and Crosby comes down with it. Alvarez showing he can stretch the floor, but can't hit there. Tipped around multiple times, and the Centurions get it right back. Kennedy underneath the hoop, and the harm. He'll have a chance to pull GCC even.
That play happens because of Ryan Kimmel. He keeps it alive by saving it, and then a great ball fake that made the defense shift to one side. He finds Kennedy on the backside, and Kennedy using the strength down low to finish through contact, plus the foul.
That foul goes on DeMoss, the first foul of this contest. Looking at the starters for Serra Catholic, number 1, Elijah Ward, 4, Isaiah Petty, 5, Owen Dombrowski, as that is good for Kennedy. Number 10, Joey DeMoss, and 13, Jadell Minifield round out the starting unit as they're checking with the score table now. It's 5-all. I'm pretty confident in that.
I think it's about the timing, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if they are wanting to add a second, or maybe the clock stopped prematurely when the foul was called.
Our officials in tonight's contest, Joe Zolchek, Greg Hedgeland, and John Jiraki. Take another look, and you see the reach in.
There's really good patience by Kimmel, too. I mean, in a situation when you're really deep in the corner like that, you've got 2 or 3 defenders around you. A lot of times you'll see players kind of panic. Right there, Kimmel, he showed off not only his calm composure, but, again, his senior experience. A senior on this team. He's played basketball before. And, again, that ball fake that a lot of times a lot of players forget to utilize, but it's one of the most helpful things in basketball at getting the defense to shift from one side to the other.
Whatever the discussion was about, it was conveyed to both head coaches. A.J. Corso, 3rd year on Serra Catholic sideline, and Christian Highland, 4th year with GCC. Ward floating, left it short, gets it right back. Nice feed underneath, and Minifield hits the layup. 7-5, Serra back in front. Figure it would be relatively high scoring. Both these teams average in the 60s offensively as Alvarez lost the handle. It stays with Turner, and he draws contact. I believe that will be in the act. Looked like he was going up with it.
Yeah, on this last replay, great find by Ward. And again, the ball fake, that's something that this Serra Catholic team, I think, should use a lot tonight with the height advantage and the size that Greensburg Central Catholic has across the board. I know last year against Serra Catholic, Greensburg Central Catholic's height definitely bothered Serra Catholic in the first half. They started to figure it out, but I think GCC needs to continue to use that length and really try and stretch the floor out and force Serra Catholic into a tough spot.
Turner misses the first. 19.6 points per game. He's up quite a bit from a year ago when he averaged just shy of a dozen per contest. That's his first point of this one. Pulls his team back within 1.
And last year, Tyree Turner, he really struggled finding the basket. Only had 6 points against the Serra Catholic team, and his first point didn't come until the 3rd quarter.
Little Euro step, floater off the mark by Petty, kept alive by Serra. However, a travel will give it back to the Centurions. Well, we've seen both these teams early on get on the offensive boards.
Not only that, Sean, but they're also staying very calm down low when a double team is coming. They're using that ball fake. We've seen it on both sides of the floor, and I'm really starting to like this Serra Catholic defense stretching out how far Greensburg Central Catholic has until they get picked up. But Greensburg Central Catholic, they're responding.
What a feed, Turner to Alvarez. And the big man gets the easy layup. His second field goal puts GCC in front for the first time at 8-7. That's an absolute dime by Turner. And a foul on the drive by Petty. Petty was a little out of control, but contact made before the shot. It goes on Crosby for the first time. First foul collectively on GCC.
That left hand started to wrap around Petty. Easy call to make.
Quick trigger, DeMoss can't hit it. Kept alive, however, by Minifield. Now Petty tries his luck, and that's good. Petty gets his first field goal, leading score for Serra at 17.3 per game. Also leads them in assists and steals. Kennedy trying to answer. He'll go to the line.
Good drive there by Kennedy, using a little bit of the hesitation, getting the defense to bite some. Very aggressive GCC team that really has no fear when they go to the rim. And then on this last replay here, Petty just getting his feet set, putting it in. Petty also a great defender. He actually set the record for most steals in a game for program history earlier this year against Swickley, as he had 15 in the game.
Yeah, that's almost unbelievable.
It is. I mean, I saw that, and I don't know
was
that shocked.
I don't know that I've ever heard of a player getting 15 steals in a game.
And not only that, but you have to factor a 32-minute game at that. And you're not guessing. I mean, I'm guessing he didn't play every single second of that game. So,
and that's a good that's a good Swickley Academy team typically. Now I don't know how they are this year, but Win Palmer's assembled a pretty potent program as that one rolls out for Petty. And the Centurions now look to push more than halfway through the opening quarter. Turner lost the handle. It will stay with GCC.
Very up-tempo early. You can tell both these teams, they like to run, get it out on the break. They don't waste any time.
Turner, catch and shoot, and it's good. Tyree Turner's first field goal. That breaks the 10-all tie. GCC up by 3. And an offensive foul. It goes on Ward. That is his second. And so one of the key members, the leading rebounder for Serra Catholic, likely will have to spend some time on the bench.
Yeah, it was an easy call to make with Ward kind of extending his hip out a little bit, but great job by Turner here on this three, getting his feet set underneath him, squaring up his body, and especially coming off that downscreen. But right there, you could see Ward kind of kicks his leg out a little bit, almost hip checks the defender, and as a result, pretty easy call for the referee to make.
Pete Burke, Christian Warren both checking in for Serra Catholic. They're a couple of juniors. In for the first time is Braden Riley for the home team. Turner gives it to Riley now. Good ball movement. Alvarez finishes. Well, the pass came in a little hot, but he showed some good hands to corral it and puts his team up 15-10.
And again, Ryan Kimmel, really the main reason why that basket happens. He's taking a lot of attention from the defense, running baseline. As a result, Alvarez gets freed up.
Some weave action here. Pretty impressively, Alvarez moving his feet on the perimeter, and Kimmel comes up with the steal. Turner all the way, scoop, and he'll go to the line. GCC continuing to attack. We have not seen any foul shots for Serra Catholic, but this will be foul shots 6 and 7 for the Centurions already. Foul assessed on Warren. And so Turner back to the line where he split his first two. Great football player is Tyree Turner, the quarterback. Also plays baseball here at GCC.
He's been able to show off some of those quarterback skills so far tonight with his passing ability.
Turner good on the first as Sean Walker enters for the first time for the Centurions. And I think we have a timeout taken. We'll take one as well. 2:55 left in the first. It's a 6-point lead for GCC. 16-10 here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
Hi, Westmoreland sports fans. This is Al Gallardo, financial advisor with Lincoln Investment and longtime Westmoreland County resident. Whether it's a traditional or Roth IRA, 403B or 457 plan, mutual funds, ETFs, stocks, or bonds, I can help you navigate the markets and assist you in achieving all of your goals. Call me at 724-309-8337 or email me at agallardo@lincolninvestment.com and we'll get started together. Good luck to all of the area's athletes and coaches this season.
GCC up 16-10, Centurions at the line. One foul shot remaining for Turner. Alvarez leading with 6 points courtesy of 3 field goals. That's good for Tyree. He's now matched him with 6. Centurions lead up 2-7. Greensburg Central Catholic, a team that has been so good in section play over the past decade plus, and so good at home, as that's an easy layup by Petty.
Yeah, you look at this Greensburg Central Catholic team over the years. Back in 2020, 2021, won 16 games. The year before that, 16 games. 18-19, they win 17 games. Very good program over the last few seasons.
Yeah, made it to a championship a couple years ago. They lost to the powerhouse Our Lady of the Sacred Heart Chargers as Alvarez cleans up the glass. He's already up to 8 points.
Alvarez, you can just tell he's got a nice feel for this game so far, really establishing himself early on, but also, like you said earlier, Sean, showing off his ability to stretch the floor a little bit.
And look at him defend on the perimeter. He is covering Petty here. I think Petty likes that matchup, but he's off on the shot, and the rebound goes to Crosby.
That's exactly what Alvarez wanted, a deep contested three.
And they're going to say it stayed. Thought it might have hit off of the knee of Samir Crosby.
I was going to say, Sean, that looked awfully close to being off of Crosby's leg, but that's why I'm not wearing the stripes tonight.
He now checks out. Christian Highland took over when he was 24 years old. Now in his 4th season, he was an assistant for 3 years before taking the reins. Former Centurion standout player as Turner gets 2. And I think he's talking a little bit after that layup as well. As cold as the Centurions were shooting it in that loss against Riverview, they are on pace for a torrid night offensively. Kennedy turns it over and it leads to a layup for Pete Burke.
Greensburg Central Catholic, again, they're not fazed by this half-court zone press that they're getting thrown to by Serra Catholic.
Turner, he had Walker wide open. Turner takes it himself and one. And he is flexing right now. Tyree Turner adds to his impressive opening quarter.
And you can tell that he's just playing at a totally different level right now that not even anybody on Greensburg Central Catholic's at right now. I mean, just his aggressiveness, his confidence. You can tell the great in and out move, got the defense to bite a little bit, and again, using the strength. Great move by Turner.
And that is a crucial foul because it is on Elijah Ward for the third time. And so Ward, with those fouls, I don't think we might not see him the rest of this entire first half. As speaking of fouls, it's a loose ball foul, this time on GCC. Just the second on the Centurions compared to 6 on Serra.
Yeah, that came against Jaden Kennedy. Looked like on the box out on the rebound, but something that, again, like you said, Sean, Serra Catholic's going to have to adjust to is Ward now being out like for most likely the rest of this first half.
Tomas dishes off, wing 3, and Turner clears the miss by Burke. He's doing it all right now. And he's going to go back to the line where Turner has already hit 3 of 4.
I have to say, Sean, at this pace, Greensburg Central Catholic could be shooting 2 free throws for potentially 3/4 of the second quarter.
Yeah.
Really with 17 fouls with Serra Catholic.
Turner's actually 3 of 5 and now 3 of 6. Under a minute left in this opening quarter of play. GCC up by 9 over Serra Catholic. These teams both 0-1 in the section. Second's good for Turner. Ten-point lead. 11 points for Turner of his team's 24. Losing the handle is Dombrowski. Centurions the other way. Kennedy, no-look pass, and Kimmel finishes. Those guys have a lot of chemistry together going back to their Jeanette days, and that's a highlight reel layup, making it a lead of a dozen. Good response, however, by Petty.
Petty with the cradle move there, just tucked it inside, almost like a running back on the football field, and powered his way through. Reason why Petty's averaging 18 points a game this season.
Kennedy fakes on it and traveled. And so with just 5 seconds left, likely a final shot here for Serra. Warren will trigger in. Short pass to Dombrowski. He's going to have to hurry. Puts it up. Oh, he banks it in. What a shot by Owen Dombrowski for his first points. As a result, it's 26-18 GCC up as we head to the second, right after this on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
Coach, building a championship team, I know for you, it's all about the details. The same goes with the Bowsers.
No doubt about it. I mean, it's the tiny little details every single day, not forgetting about it the next day and maybe doing it the following day. I mean, I think details are everything.
As Coach says, get your eyes right on the power of Bowser.
The Bowser family is proud to have Coach Narduzzi as part of our team.
Centurions up 26-18 as we move to the second. Sean Myers, Jack Ridenauer here on the call from Greensburg Central Catholic. Cameraman Chris Smith and producer Dan Flickinger rounding out our crew. 17 fouls for Serra compared to just 2 for the Centurions. Turner stays red hot. He is feeling it right now.
And he made sure to let the defense know that they were a little too small to cover him down low.
Yeah, and I would think that might border on potentially being a technical at some point too.
And I think that's something that the referees are keeping a very close eye on.
Wide open jumper, and that goes for Burke. Second field goal for Pete Burke. And Centurions turn it over. Petty has it poked free from behind. Now Turner had to kill, and he finishes. 10-point lead for GCC, and when they force turnovers, they are wasting little time and pushing the tempo.
Yeah, and they get it right down court very, very quickly. But Serra Catholic, to their credit, they're doing a nice job at trying to stay in their system and not get disrupted by GCC's defense.
Petty, a little leaner, and Kimmel corrals the rebound. Crosby, Alvarez, two more.
Alvarez does such an amazing job at keeping that ball so high. Such a fundamental thing to do for a big guy, and he's doing a really, really nice job of it. Even when he's facing up and looking and surveying the court, does a great job of keeping that ball nice and high so the defense can't pull it out of his hands. Alvarez,
the former Norwin Knight. Second year on the team here at GCC. Dombrowski. Now Petty will hand off. Catch and shoot, and that's pure courtesy of Joey DeMoss, his second field goal.
And hit 5 threes last year against GCC on this court. Definitely a gym that he likes to shoot at.
Kennedy. Turner. All the way, two more. Turner already up to 15. He led the team with 19 points in that loss against the Raiders last time out. Petty has a response, +1 as he hits it from distance.
Last year on this very court, Serra Catholic, they started off slow shooting the ball from downtown, but then it started to pick up for them later in the game.
Crosby, acrobatic finish. Heck of a way to get his first points.
A little razzle-dazzle for the freshman.
These teams just not missing right now. That's a miss because of partial block. It does stay with Serra, however. Petty off. Alvarez secures the board. Now ahead to Crosby. Kennedy spinning. Can't hit. And a foul, I think, on Crosby. Gets his second on the freshman.
Yeah, right there on the rebound. Came in a little too hard there on the arm. But look at this play here. Great acrobatic move. Tremendous body control. And he was pretty pumped up coming into the crowd here. Very spirited crowd here at GCC.
And a timeout taken by A.J. Corso and Serra Catholic. Centurions up 10. Second quarter continues after this on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
At D'Annunzio's, our menu is extensive with an abundance of selections. The next best thing to being at one of our 3 locations is having our frozen food and jarred sauce in your own home. For our frozen food selections, we have wedding soup, pasta fagioli, lasagna, stuffed cheese rigatoni, ricotta cavatelli, and potato gnocchi. Our jarred sauces include the original, smooth, marinara, and tomato cream. These products can all be found at our restaurants or your local grocery.
Now is the time to save at Sendell Subaru in Greensburg. We've got inventory on the lot and more on the way. Forester, Outback, Ascent, Legacy, and more. Get a great deal on a new 2022 Subaru. Check out SendellSubaru.com today. Looking to turn your current vehicle into cash? Sendell pays top dollar. Get your best deal at Sendell Subaru, Route 30 Greensburg, SendellSubaru.com. We would love to meet you.
Out of the timeout, Serra Catholic in possession, but down 10. A.J. Corso directing traffic. Was an assistant for a couple of years at Serra. Went to Upper St. Clair and then returned to Serra to become the head coach. Played collegially, but not on the hardwood. He was a football player at Teal in the President's Athletic Conference. Underhanded layup goes for Petty.
That's a pretty move there by Petty. Got the hesitation to work for him on Alvarez, and Alvarez bid on it. That little head fake, that little shimmy move a lot of players will do. It's an easy one to get the defender to bite on.
He's got a dozen of the team's 28. Rare miss by Turner. He gets it right back. And it will stay with GCC after the hustle play by Ryan Kimmel. Kimmel wearing those glasses.
Yeah. Well, he's doing a little bit of everything tonight. Passing, rebounding, hustling. If we had plus-minus stats right now, he'd be through the roof in the plus-minus column.
Why aren't you keeping that?
I left it at home, my plus-minus chart.
Alvarez has a rollout. You have a plus-minus chart?
No. I could make one.
Halfway through the second quarter, and Serra gets another hoop courtesy of Burke, and he's provided a nice spark off the bench. 6 points for him, as it's now a 6-point deficit for the visitors. Kimmel. Nowhere to go with it. Not a bad idea to throw it into the big man Alvarez. Again, the iron on Kime, but he'll track it all the way down behind the arc. Now Kimmel goes to work. And has it taken away, but somehow gets it back. However, off of the fingertips of Kennedy for a turnover.
Yeah, again, just good hustle by Kimmel. Couldn't keep it in play, but he's doing everything that this team needs from him really right now. Just keeping possessions alive, extending plays, and getting it to the right players. And like you said on that last play, not a bad idea to throw it to a guy like Alvarez, who has had his way tonight in the paint.
Very surprising to see both these teams under 500, both in the section and overall, as that misses by Burt. And the Centurions, Riley tracks it down. All the scoring for GCC has come amongst the starters. Turner has it taken away, never made it to him. Dombrowski. Scoop layup, what a spectacular finish as he gets his second field goal.
Beautiful move by Dombrowski. Did a little bit of the Samir Crosby. Showed him a little bit of the same exact move, but now we're seeing this Serra Catholic team chipping away slowly but surely at this lead. They've trimmed it all the way down to 4.
Hanging. Turner nearly got the roll. Instead, he'll go back to the foul line where he's been a regular participant. Foul for the second time goes on Minifield. Mentioned these teams split last year. It was a late season victory by Serra on February the 11th, 69-53, that really bolstered their resume heading into the playoffs, as Turner good on the first. And they, as a result, got a pretty good seed. They were the 6th seed and beat number 11 Shenango in the first round before ultimately succumbing to 3rd seeded Carlington in the quarterfinals. GCC, as that was for Turner, lost to Our Lady of the Sacred Heart for the 2nd straight year. Last year was in the semis. The prior year it was in the championship game.
And you go back to the 2016-17 year, and GCC actually fell to Ulsh in that same year, 54-49 in the semifinals.
Yeah, Coach Rodriguez has built a dynasty there with the Chargers. It's getting loud here at Greensburg Central Catholic High School. 6-point lead for the home team. Serra unable to trim it at half, and that's just too difficult of a pass there for Turner, as it was easily stolen. And another spectacular finish. Dombrowski does it again, and he's fouled. His degree of difficulty on his 3 hoops is through the roof.
Yeah, and Dombrowski was actually very smart to do that. It ultimately draws the foul, and now it gives him an opportunity to have a 3-point play. But here the hesitation goes right around, and again, that extra little up and under was enough to get hit.
Missed foul shot, but an offensive rebound. 4-point lead for GCC. This time it's Dombrowski with the jumper. Man, he is impressive. Makes it a 38-36 contest as Serra has come charging back within a single possession.
Dombrowski had a lot of success against this GCC team last year at 13 points in that February 11th matchup. Coming off of a 15.6 rebound, 5 steal, 2 block performance in the overtime loss against Jeanette. DeMoss halfway down, and Turner gets the rebound. A
That would have given the Eagles the lead. Turner, good. And a timeout taken by Christian Highland as we'll keep it right here. It's 40-36 in favor of the Centurions. That was a much-needed jumper.
Oh, no question. One that I'm sure Tyree Turner is very happy that he was able to hit, because this GCC team needed something, especially with how the Serra Catholic team has gone on a run as of late. Really, this run is all in part because of Owen Dombrowski. A couple of hustle plays that he's able to turn some defense into some offense, drawing some fouls against GCC, doing everything that you can.
A 16-8 run in favor of the Eagles, making some friends with the officials, huh?
I guess so.
Well, you did go and talk to him before the game.
I did. Well, they wanted to know kind of the style of play of how this matchup would be, and I said, well, it's going to be up-tempo. It's going to be fast-paced. You guys are going to be running tonight. I warned them. I told them it's an up-tempo, fast-paced style of play.
We might be looking at a game that gets potentially into the 80s here. By the way, I mentioned the players who moved on. Brevin Williams now at Carlo, and I cover him, but there's another one right there in Ryan Appleby, part of Seton Hill, and that's a Seton Hill team that has already doubled last year's win total. They won just 3 games in 21-22. They've won 6 this year, including a thriller on Sunday against East Stroudsburg, a buzzer beater. You can go back and check that out on the archives of the Westmoreland Sports Network. The Appleby name, a well-known one here at Greensburg Central Catholic. His sister, one of the very best in recent memory on the girls' side. 4-point lead for GCC Serra basketball. Dabrowski's had the spectacular finishes, now gives to Petty. And he makes up his mind to get to the cup, and he finishes. Petty's got 14. And we have a foul, and it's a 1-and-1 bonus scenario for GCC. And so for the first time, it's Riley goes to the line. The foul whistled on Burke. Riley looking to get the first bench point of this contest for the home team.
And that's something that GCC needs to enforce in this second half coming up. They need to get that help from the reserves. Tyree Turner, he can't do it all on his own. Samir Crosby, the same thing, can't do it all on their own, so other guys are going to have to step up tonight.
That's a big shot there for Riley. 41-38. Freshman Tyler Sapita on the floor for Serra Catholic. They have a couple of rotation guys out, so they had to go a little deeper into the bench, and that includes the 9th grader getting some minutes. 2 of 2 for Riley.
It's always good to get freshmen, sophomores, some of those early years experience at the varsity level. Even in games like this where it's a section matchup, very, very tough competition, gets them ready for when it is their turn to take over and be the leaders of that program.
Now it looks, based on Petty's pace, that maybe a final shot scenario might be forthcoming for Serra. 4-point lead for GCC. Petty, and he gets another finish at the cup. Centurions still have plenty of time. Turner with it. Left it well short, and now Serra won't be able to get a shot off as the first half comes to a conclusion. Well played one, a high-scoring affair. GCC at home holding a 2-point lead, 42-40 over Serra Catholic. We'll take a break, come back with the Excella Health halftime show as we continue our coverage of high school hoops here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
Collision Shop by Jason Mignone is your one-stop shop for all things auto body repair. Our experienced technicians and state-of-the-art facilities have you covered on both passenger and heavy-duty vehicle repairs, including scratches, scrapes, and dents, free estimates, body repairs, welding, refinishing, glass replacement, and more. Our all-new alignment and calibration shop has the tooling, equipment, and staffing to ensure top-quality alignment and calibration adjustments for your vehicle. Our friendly office staff is more than happy to assist you through every step of your vehicle's repair process. Visit the Collision Shop by Jason.com GCC.com for our complete list of services.
We know speaking with your teen or your young adult about drugs and alcohol can be challenging, but is necessary. Remember to have a conversation, not a confrontation. Establish good communications, break through barriers, and be firm but loving. Here are some helpful tips. Choose a good place and time to chat. Talk with openness. Actively listen. Offer empathy and support. For more information, visit us online at wedacinc.org. Westmoreland Drug and Alcohol Commission. Prevention is key.
Your next golf adventure awaits at Manor Valley Golf Course in Export. Manor Valley offers 18 scenic holes over gentle sloping fairways and the purest putting surfaces around. Manor Valley Golf Course in Export is the perfect place to host your next golf outing, banquet party, or shower. Manor Valley also offers league play and great membership rates. Tee times available. Call 724-744-4242. Visit ManorValleyGC.com.
The Westmoreland Sports Network is available on social media. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and like our page on Facebook for the latest Westmoreland County sports news, WSN broadcast links, scores, game stories, videos, pictures, and much, much more. Also be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for archived interviews and broadcast highlights. The Westmoreland Sports Network is available whenever and however you want it.
We've reached the halftime. It's the Excella Health halftime show here on the Westmoreland Sports Network. Excella Health Expert Care here. A 2-point lead for GCC, and Jack, look at that. Got a bunch of ducks on the screen.
Yeah, so can you explain this to me? I'm a little confused on what's going on.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
You just throw ducks?
There's a mama duck in the middle.
Okay.
And then everyone that, I guess, wants one receives a little duck. And then from their seated position in the stands, they chuck the duck, and whoever gets closest to the duck wins a significant prize, perhaps a new car. I don't know what the prize is, but that's just my speculation.
So it's like bocce ball. A little bit.
It's like chuck-a-duck.
Okay. Sure.
And
we'll
so
go
they've
with that.
determined the winner. Now, I believe there's numbers that correspond with, whoever. You get a number for your duck, and then you write down, I'm Jack Ridenauer, I'm duck number 7. And if number 7 is the closest, then Jack Ridenauer gets a
brand new car.
LeBaron, yes.
Okay.
So anyway, duck throwing aside, let's talk about the first half of basketball. Pretty high scoring. We're on pace for these teams to get into the 80s. What were your takeaways?
Well, right from the start, Tyree Turner immediately establishing his presence, and he took over the first 6-7 minutes of the game. Give a lot of credit, though, to head coach A.J. Corso and his group at Serra Catholic. They adjusted really well, and you look at that second quarter, and Tyree Turner, he kind of started to fade to the background a little bit and was not that big of an impact later on in that second quarter. Serra Catholic's offense started to get going a little bit. Isaiah Petty did a nice job penetrating, getting inside. And on that last play before the end of the half when Petty went and drove and scored, something that jumped out to me was just how GCC was covering the pick and roll. What happened was Ryan Kimmel came over and tried to suck over towards where I'm guessing it was Joey DeMoss. I believe that's who it was. But he had somebody out on the perimeter that he had to come and cover. And as a result, Petty did a nice job dragging that screen around, coming off the screen really, really well. And again, he's done a nice job at kind of using the head fake and the hesitation. As a result, it took a one-on-one matchup with Petty as well as Franco Alvarez down low, and Petty went right past him with a burst of speed. But really, I think Serra Catholic, they took over in the latter part of that first half, whereas GCC, they jumped out to an immediate strong start in that first half. Yeah, and the catalyst in that strong start was Turner. Tyree Turner with a game-high 19 points in the first half. Franco Alvarez also in double figures for GCC. He's got 10. 5 points for Jaden Kennedy. Ryan Kimmel has 4, 2 each for Samir Crosby and Braden Riley. On the other side, the high man is Isaiah Petty with 16. He is the only Eagles player in double figures. Owen Dombrowski, who has some spectacular hoops, has 8. 6 points for Pete Burke off the bench, 5 for Joey DeMoss, 3 for Elijah Ward, and he's going to be a player that we're going to have our eye on because he played very few minutes because he picked up 3 fouls in that opening half and 2 points for Jadel Minifield to round out the scoring. So getting Ward back, in all likelihood, he's not a big-time scorer at 8 points per game, but he's a really good athlete. He's their leading rebounder. He can chip in
with the assists and the steals. I think if you're Serra Catholic, you're feeling pretty good about where you're at.
Oh, no question. You're feeling great with where you're at, especially with how that end of the first half went with things, especially, again, they were able to come up with some big takeaways right when GCC comes up with some takeaways. So really nice job by Serra Catholic. Went back to their basics, driving, penetrating, shooting the three ball. And again, defensively, they did a good job at slowing down Tyree Turner after his explosion offensively at the beginning of the first half.
GCC was up 8 at the end of the first quarter, but Serra Catholic outscoring the Centurions 22-16 in the second quarter to get back within 2. We mentioned these teams. There's a lot to play for here tonight. They are both looking for their first section win after dropping their section openers on Friday. Serra Catholic, a heartbreaker overtime loss at home against Jeanette. GCC with a surprising 4-point loss in Oakmont at Riverview. We'll take a break. We'll get you set for the second half of action as we continue our coverage of high school basketball. 42-40, Greensburg Central Catholic leading Serra Catholic as we continue right here on the Excella Health Halftime Show on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
If you had to file an insurance claim, would your insurance coverage score a touchdown, or would you be sacked for a financial loss? At Stevenson Insurance Associates, you'll call the right play when it comes to your insurance coverage. Don't fumble the opportunity to score points with our customer service and superior low-cost policies. You need to make the right call to Stevenson Insurance Associates at 724-832-9889.
We get it. High school is tough. Life is tough. There's so much pressure from teachers, parents, and your peers. There's so much emphasis on your future, what you're going to do with yourself.
Sometimes it's easier to give in and drink a little, smoke a little, or take a little. But this stuff truly does have consequences.
If you can't handle high school, how are you going to handle prison? How are you going to handle being homeless?
Or how are you going to handle living your last days in a hospital?
So don't drink, smoke, or take drugs if you don't think you can handle the consequences or your family's disappointment.
Have you or someone you know committed to play a sport at the next level? Let us know by emailing info@westmorelandsports.com so we can add you to our WSN College Commitment page. Our unique page features a list of current Westmoreland County student athletes that have made a verbal or written commitment to play a sport in college. No matter what sport at what level, our College Commitment page has you covered. Check it out next time you visit westmorelandsports.com.
The Manor Valley Golf Course in Export is proud to announce the opening of their new banquet facility. It's perfect for sports banquets, Christmas parties, and weddings. This new facility can hold up to 180 people, so if you have an event coming up, Manor Valley Golf Course can host it. Golfers, they specialize in league play, fundraising outings, and have great membership rates. Give them a call at 724-744-4242 or online at manorvalleygc.com.
Just about set to begin this third quarter of play. A 2-point lead for GCC here at home, a team that often defends its home floor very well. A program that has had so much success over the past decade plus, and Christian Highland has certainly upkept that tradition that Greg Bizignani started. Highland now joined by a former teammate and Brian Graytalk on staff. He added Graytalk as an assistant, joining Ed Zimmerlink, a longtime assistant here at GCC. Chris Kalock and Denny Highland also on staff.
Brian Graytalk, a former Washington and Jefferson president as well.
Did you play against him?
I did. Back in the 2015-2016 season, he was part of the, if I'm not mistaken, Ethan Stewart-Smith, who's now the head coach at W&J. He was there during Ethan Stewart-Smith's first season in 2015-2016. So, always good to have a former player on your staff, especially when it's a former player that the head coach has played with.
Yeah, so Brian and Christian were part of a team that came up shy in both the WPIAL championship game, and then I believe they made it to the state semis, and both times it was Seton LaSalle in their way. And then Brian's brother, Sean, was a really good player, not at GCC, but at Greater Latrobe, as the Centurions steal the inbound, but Kennedy loses it right back, and now gets it back again. They're playing hot potato with it. And Turner can't finish. We saw about 4 of those layups go, but that time Turner not able to follow suit. Serra comes back the other way. 3 ball, that one well off. DeMoss elevated knowing it was going to be a miss, but he could not touch it. It would have been goaltending. Kennedy wide open 3. And he gets the roll.
Talk about a shooter's touch. GCC, they struggled shooting from 3 against Riverview, shot 1 of 22 as a team.
Is that bad?
Not the greatest.
Yep.
Not ideal. We didn't really see them shoot the ball from deep much in the first half.
Well, they didn't really need to, by and large. Turner and Alvarez look great inside. As speaking about 3-pointers, that one doesn't go for Petty, and now Alvarez comes up with the loose ball. Crosby passing on a perimeter shot. Takes one straight on, and he knocks down the long 2.
A good start here for GCC, and it's exactly what they needed, especially with how they ended that first half.
A 2-point lead has increased to 7. Petty. I think this is a mismatch here with Alvarez guarding him. Although Alvarez moves his feet pretty well considering his size. That time just could not get out of the way, and he's called for a foul. Not much in the way of foul problems at all for GCC. On the other side, we mentioned Ward, plagued by 3. Minifield also has a couple for Serra.
The GCC's defense has been very disciplined so far, very clean.
DeMoss. Ward. So hard to get in any rhythm, Jack, when you're that limited in terms of your playing time because of fouls, and Ward misses that one. Taken away. Petty, and he'll head to the foul line. Alvarez and Turner trying to sort something out.
And now that's Alvarez's second personal foul already in this, not only game, but just within the not even first 2 minutes of this second half. So something that Serra Catholic needs to continue to try and emphasize is attacking Greensburg Central Catholic and attacking Alvarez, getting him in foul trouble and getting to the line as well.
First one good for Petty. He's now up to 17. Now, one thing that we talked about is the winning tradition of these basketball programs, but the athletic programs as a whole at these 2 schools, very successful. Think of football this past year, both playoff participants. Serra Catholic winning a championship recently. GCC won its conference this year. Baseball programs have been outstanding as Dombrowski takes it away, and a rare miss for him on a scoop layup attempt. Now Kimmel will push. The big man kicks off. Good ball movement. Crosby's 3, too strong. And it stays with Turner. A little scrambly. Kennedy misses everything. It looked like GCC was in a rush there.
And they've been in a rush, I feel, the last 2 or 3 possessions. You're starting to see they're getting a little too fancy, couple acrobatic shots that they don't need to take. They can just go right up, try and draw contact, and go to the line.
And we'll stay with Serra.
GCC also, the last few possessions, they've started to hoist some more 3s. They're kind of going away from the game plan that worked for them in that first half, getting the ball to Turner and letting him go to work, and then also factoring in Alvarez and let everybody work around them.
5:20 left in this third quarter. It's a 5-point Centurions lead. DeMoss knocks it down. That's a 3 ball.
Talk about some range for DeMoss. He's got some really deep range. Can hit some big-time 3s. And that was one that this Serra Catholic team, they needed desperately.
Brings them back within 2, and a travel. Well, I mentioned the great success of the athletic programs as a whole. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention girls basketball. GCC up to a hot start, 5-1. They won their last game yesterday against Steel Valley at home, 65-14, playing against Monessen tonight. And then Serra's girls undefeated, 5-0. They're coming off a 59-11 win at home against Springdale last night. for the lead. Serra can't convert on the shot by Petty. Kennedy to the cup, hanging, almost got the hoop in the arm. Instead, he'll shoot a pair.
Yeah, that's the take right there that this GCC team needed. Kennedy just going all the way to the 10. Not very good rotation by Serra Catholic. And as a result, Minifield gets caught into a tough situation and picks up his third foul.
So he joins Ward with 3 fouls. First one good for Jaden Kennedy.
That could be a big loss there for Serra Catholic. One of their main post presence in Minifield out of the game, and now Serra Catholic has to go to Tyler Sapita, the freshman. I'm sure that's something that GCC, they'll try and hone in on offensively in a player that they could attack.
2-2. Yeah, Sapita doesn't have a lot in terms of the stat line production, just 1 point per game and a half rebound per game, but it's just his third contest as that's tipped and stolen. Crosby fires a pass ahead, and that's a turnover. Well, Crosby had a great season as a do-it-all player for GCC on the football field. He's probably naturally a quarterback, but maybe tried to thread the needle a little too tight that time. He's going to be a heck of a player, I think, in basketball, but especially in football, before it's all said and done in his career. Nebraska, DeMoss, that's good. Joey DeMoss gives Serra the lead, or excuse me, pulls them within 1. GCC still up 49-48.
Christian Warren was pressured heavily along the sideline, kept his composure, good skip pass, and just good ball movement. GCC, they couldn't rotate fast enough.
Crosby tries to answer, but a bad miss. And now DeMoss ahead of the pack, and an easy 2. Now they have the lead. DeMoss really bursting out in this third quarter. He's got 8 points in the stanza.
Serra Catholic's defense, they've taken Tyree Turner out of this game right now. They're forcing GCC into some ill-advised contested threes.
So they're leaving Crosby on the perimeter, and he smartly gets it into big Alvarez. It counts, and the foul. A dozen for Franco Alvarez, and he'll have a chance to add one more.
And not the greatest foul there by Isaiah Petty. In a situation like that, when you know the offensive player is going to beat you, you want to take the ball with you so they don't have an opportunity to go to the line for a three-point play. And right there, Alvarez using his strength, his 6'5" frame, and powering his way through to the rim.
Alvarez completes the three-point play. He's an impressive player. Good feet for his size, good touch. And a quick response, the trifecta courtesy of Christian Warren, his first points. And the other way, Kennedy finishes. He'll have a chance at a three-point play. And for the second time, Petty called for the personal.
And the foul trouble continues to increase for the Serra Catholic team. Petty now with 2, Ward with 3, and Minifield with 3. And already a shortened bench for Serra Catholic could be something that could be a factor later on in this game.
And a foul, this time on GCC. Goes on Kennedy. You didn't say God bless you, Jack. I just sneezed.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah.
Or Gesundheit, as the Germans would say.
The listeners didn't know because I muted my mic, but you knew.
That's the whole point. They're not supposed to know.
Suppose. 2-point Centurions lead. And I think they're going to get Turner for a foul here. So the whistle's starting to pick up. That's the first on the outstanding junior.
Petty was just such a great crossover. He's such a patient driver. He's not one where he has one speed and one speed only. He's so good at changing speeds, can go from stop and go, and accelerate in such a variety of ways. And as a result, he gets to the basket at will. And I think that, one of the top-tier drivers that at least we've seen so far early on in this basketball season, with his ability to just get into the paint almost seamlessly.
Second upcoming for Petty after he missed the first. Minifield's going to check back in for his 3 fouls. Student section getting loud here at GCC. It's good, 1 of 2 for Petty.
That was something actually last year, Sean, going back to the game on February 11th between these two teams. The crowd was a huge factor. If I'm not mistaken, they actually stopped play a few minutes in because of how loud it was.
It wasn't that it was that
loud. Well, because
it
was going on during play.
It was like a cowbell type of deal. As Alvarez has it roll out, and Petty comes down with it. Petty's tied up. Held ball. Possession will give it to GCC. Good defense by the Centurions.
Yeah, really good defense there. Braden Riley getting his hands in there.
Yeah, well.
Good job also to avoid getting a foul also.
I don't know if they would technically be called a steal for Riley, but I would say if so, it's petty theft. Huh?
Oh, you're so punny.
Around the perimeter with Kimmel. A dangerous skip pass somehow makes it through. Not a lot going on this possession.
And they're leaving Crosby wide open. They're daring him to shoot a 3 right now.
He will. And it's off. So if you're Christian Highland, what do you tell your freshman on that scenario? As that goes, Dombrowski.
In that situation, I'm telling him he's got to be confident. He's a good player. Samir Crosby knows how talented he is, and I think right now it might be a confidence thing. You can tell when he's about to shoot, he's very uncertain. He doesn't go up with kind of a good clean form. He's a little bit unsure if it's a good shot or not. He needs to just shoot it with confidence, really.
Serra comes up with the steal, trying to add to a 2-point lead are the Eagles. DeMoss off. Minifield keeps it alive on the tip to Ward. And the 2-point pull-up is good for Dombrowski.
Yeah, Minifield doing a great job keeping that possession alive, but Braden Riley with fantastic box out on Minifield, and Minifield sheerly just using his height to his advantage.
Yeah, sometimes you will see that called as a over the back, but if you're just bigger than someone, then I think probably usually the officials will typically let it go. Turner. Baseline J, no. Final 30 seconds of the third quarter. Serra has taken a 4-point lead after the Centurions led for the majority of the opening half. Kicks out to Ward. Contested jumper, barely grazed iron. Crosby gets it to Kimmel, wide open, and that's a big layup for Kimmel and the Centurions. No one got back for Serra. It is 59-57 in favor of the visitors. We'll head to the fourth next as we continue right here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
Is your one-stop. The Collision Shop by Jason Mignone is your one-stop shop for all things auto body repair. Our experienced technicians and state-of-the-art facilities have you covered on both passenger and heavy-duty vehicle repairs, including scratches, scrapes, and dents, free estimates, body repairs, welding, refinishing, glass replacement, and more. Our all-new alignment and calibration shop has the tooling, equipment, and staffing to ensure top-quality alignment and calibration adjustments for your vehicle. Our friendly office staff is more than happy to assist you through every step of your vehicle's repair process. Visit the Collision Shop by Jason jason.com for our complete list of services.
Right now at Smale Kia, take $500 off any in-stock or incoming 2023 Kia Soul or Forte, or lease a 2023 Kia Forte LXS for just $295 a month. A fair price all the time. At Smale Kia, you never have to worry about the ugly three. No sly market adjustments, no creepy addendum, no fancy surcharges. Avoid the ugly three and be free. Shop Smale Kia, where you never pay more than MSRP.
Fourth quarter underway. Serra Catholic holding a 2-point lead in possession of the basketball. Eagles wearing the gray. Centurions at home playing in the white jerseys. Serra Catholic outscoring Greensburg Central Catholic 19-15 that quarter. There's a player injured on the play and a foul on Minifield, and now they blow it dead. It is Petty who is shaken up for about 15, maybe 20 seconds there, and they let the possession continue. A little surprised how that played out, Jack.
Yeah, and Coach Corso for Serra Catholic is livid right now, almost all the way out.
Well, usually when your team has the ball, they'll blow it dead if there's an injured player.
Well, it's funny. We actually had a situation like that last night at Franklin Regional in our girls' game that we had coverage of last night, Franklin Regional and Plum, where an injury timeout actually happened, but it happened too quickly. And it was right when the player fell on the ground. They were having to call the timeout. So as a result, it was kind of one of those things where, you know, it's how much time do you give? What's enough time? Is the player actually injured? Are they just frustrated and they're getting up slow because they're mad about something? So you're having to factor in a lot of things as a referee, as opposed to, okay, if the play had gone down on the other side of the floor and he had stayed down on the ground, then you would probably be like, okay, injury timeout. But nonetheless, they got it sorted out.
Well, and it results in the fourth foul on Minifield because he went over the back. So a miss, empty possession, and a subsequent loose ball foul as Kennedy explodes and ties it up. 15 for Jaden Kennedy.
And I'm sure GCC probably loves the fact that one of the main post presence for Serra Catholic sitting with some foul trouble, already with 4.
And a Centurions foul. Oh, we don't know how this one's going to end, but it really does feel like that layup by Kimmel right at the end of the third quarter, just a breakdown by Serra, could loom large because the Centurions coming out with some energy here early in this fourth quarter, not quite a minute into it, and a good sign as Petty's back out onto the floor. First foul on Kimmel tonight. Averages 4 points per game. Serra working the perimeter. Ward. And he's fouled, and Crosby trying to help him up, and I think Ward said, I'll get one of my guys to help me up.
Yeah, again, that hesitation move. We've seen it a lot tonight. You can tell that maybe Coach Corso emphasizes that in practice, something they might work on in skills, but you're seeing it a lot with a lot of these guards, whether it's with Petty or with Ward, whomever it's been driving to the lane. They have this great natural ability of the head fake, getting the defense to bite, and then as a result, you have that disadvantage as a defender. You're on your heels, and now the offender can get right past you and go to the basket. And we're starting to see that with Serra Catholic's guards.
First shot missed as Sean Walker returns. One thing that I think could be potentially an issue going forward for GCC, if this is a team that's intent on making another deep playoff run, they are very top-heavy, as that's good. Their starters have accounted for all but 2 points.
And I mentioned it in the first half that that's going to have to be a very different kind of set of circumstances for them. They have to start getting a lot more guys involved. They have to start trusting some more guys and have guys that can contribute that are 7-man, 8-man on the team instead of the entire starters. And then after that, you don't really have a whole lot of help after.
And there's one of those reserves, Walker, with it. And Serra has the steal. DeMoss. Petty. He's going to run some time. His coach, A.J. Corsa, jumping up and down. He must have seen something that they did not capitalize on as the three off by Dombrowski, tipped around. Ward secures it. Ward wanted it back, instead pulling the trigger and missing is Petty. Turner's been somewhat quiet after a really hot first 12 or so minutes of this one. Crosby hanging and finishing.
And a great move there by the freshman. Needed something to fall for him to get that confidence back, and for GCC overall, they need to continue to drive to the basket. That's what was working for them so well in the first half, and they've gone away from it here in the second.
2.5 minutes into this fourth quarter. And an easy layup as Burke was able to turn the corner, but I think he went into the bleachers and was a little shaken up. There's not a lot of room here on either side beyond the baseline.
I know, it looked like he just rolled his ankle a little
just
bit.
how he landed.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that these players have to take into account the little room that they have to land, so that's probably in the back of their mind when they're going to the lane and driving.
Turner, that's what we saw early from him. He gets his first points of the second half. He's got 21.
And he's got 5 more minutes of regulation play. This is where his team needs him the most.
But the response on the 3 ball by Burke, I guess he's just fine. We thought it would be a high-scoring affair, and certainly it has been so far. Difficult feed, and Kennedy does a nice job to keep it alive. And he'll go to the line, draws contact. Foul on DeMoss, his second.
Good drive there on the replay by Crosby. DeMoss closing out a little too strong. Big free throws coming up here for Kennedy.
Chance to tie. First is good. Kimmel returns.
Another thing that they've kind of gone away from in GCC, that is getting Franco Alvarez involved. I mean, you saw Alvarez very involved in the first half, and not necessarily always scoring, but just being someone where you could throw him the ball at the high post, and then he can look off, survey, and find guys cutting. And they also moved the ball really well in the first half and moved without the ball very well in the first half.
They had 26 points after the first quarter. Serra's had the better of the play since. And Petty will go back to shoot 2. Is that Kennedy?
It's Kennedy, that's his third.
His fourth.
So now he's got 4, so now some foul trouble over for GCC. And I'm sure for Serra Catholic offensively, they're going to look to attack Kennedy as much as they can to get him out of this game.
Well, it's not surprising. These are 2A schools. There's not a ton of depth each way. And we mentioned Serra already down a couple of rotational guys. 2 of 2.
I have to say the crowd here, Sean, is almost like a college atmosphere with how loud it is.
Reminds you of your Chatham days, huh?
Fondly, very fondly.
Kimmel. Crosby steps into a 2 this time. Can't hit it. No, I think might feel a little more confident taking a 2-point jumper, but that time he was not able to knock it down. Front iron, rebound stays with Serra. Dabrowski can't hit. Centurions down 3. I think it's a lot of guys right now for GCC as Alvarez gets the finish inside, and a timeout courtesy of Christian Highland. We'll take a break. Centurions down 1, 67-66, more than halfway through the fourth on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
Hi, Westmoreland sports fans. This is Al Gallardo, financial advisor with Lincoln Investment and longtime Westmoreland County resident. Whether it's a traditional or Roth IRA, 403B or 457 plan, mutual funds, ETFs, stocks, or bonds, I can help you navigate the markets and assist you in achieving all of your goals. Call me at 724-309-8337 or email me at agallardo@lincolninvestment.com and we'll get started together. Good luck to all of the area's athletes and coaches this season.
That's the power of Bowser. Yeah.
Coach, building a championship team, I know for you, it's all about the details. The same goes with the Bowsers.
No doubt about it. I mean, it's the tiny little details every single day, not forgetting about it the next day, and maybe doing it the following day. I mean, I think details are everything.
As Coach says, get your eyes right on the power of Bowser.
The Bowser family is proud to have Coach Narduzzi as part of our team.
There we see Jason Mignon, one of our great sponsors here at WSN. Son Maddox, member of the Centurions team, 6'3" sophomore. We appreciate him. He's certainly hoping that the home team can find a way to pull this one out. Serra currently up by 1 on the road. Eagles won a game here last year after GCC won the first meeting at Serra Catholic. Serra Catholic has the McKeesport address. I think of it more of a White Oak area, but McKeesport address for Serra. This is a lengthy possession. Ward wide open. And Turner skies for the board.
You could tell Serra Catholic did not know what to do with that 2-3 zone.
Crosby finishes. The lead goes back to GCC, 68-67.
I'm sure Coach Highland told his freshmen in that timeout, keep playing aggressively, keep playing confidently. He comes out of that timeout with a big basket.
Well, I think he's confident when he's going to the hoop, not so much when he's got to pull up from distance. As Kennedy comes up with a steal. Centurions with possession and with a 1-point lead, and now they will slow it down. A lot of dribbling for Crosby. And he's off on that. A little too much English.
It's impressive he was able to split the defense like that.
And there's a foul. That is the 8th team foul, so a 1-and-1 for Serra Catholic. Turner just his second. That's not a major concern. Well, the officials a little confused, and now they get it squared away. It is going to be a 1-and-1 for DeMoss, or rather for Dombrowski.
Haven't seen a whole lot from Dombrowski in this second half, especially with how well he played in that first half in that 2 or 3 minute stretch where he had about 6-7 points in a row.
It's a big foul shot as he earns the second. He was 0 of 1 at the line prior to that. Producer Dan Flickinger, Chris Smith, our videographer, doing a great job here tonight on our broadcast as Alvarez clears the miss. Tie ball game, under 2 left in regulation. Turner up top. He was absolutely on fire in the first half. And he gets some of that back right there. Turner now has 23 points. And a timeout taken by the Eagles. Centurions trying to close it out. Up 70-68. Just over a minute left in this one. We'll continue our coverage on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
D'Annunzio's Italian Restaurants is open 7 days a week at all 3 of our locations, Jeanette, Monroeville, and Latrobe. We invite you to join us for our specials. Monday, the special is spaghetti. Tuesday, it's raviolis. Wednesday, it's lasagna. And Thursday, it's chicken parmesan or chicken romano. Be sure to try our drink specials and our fabulous desserts. And remember, we also have takeout available at all 3 locations.
Now is the time to save at Sendell Subaru in Greensburg. We've got inventory on the lot and more on the way. Forester, Outback, Ascent, Legacy, and more. Get a great deal on a new 2022 Subaru. Check out SendellSubaru.com today. Looking to turn your current vehicle into cash? Sendell pays top dollar. Get your best deal at Sendell Subaru, Route 30 Greensburg, SendellSubaru.com. We would love to meet you.
1:24 left in regulation. A 2-point Centurions lead over Serra Catholic. Each of these teams looking for their first section victory. They're each 0-1 in Class 2A Section 3. And a turnover, and then Kennedy bumped. Oh, they're going to call it travel. Fans don't like it.
I am absolutely shocked by that shot. I have to say I am very shocked by that call. Kennedy clearly got hit in the mouth, and that's what caused him to travel.
But who hit him?
And that is a good question. After seeing that replay, who hit him?
Petty. Down to a minute left. And a tying layup by Petty. Turner with the ball. Sees a double team, so he kicks it. Kimmel, Crosby. Kennedy, contact, almost got it to go. He will head to the line. And so a big scenario here for Jaden Kennedy, who hit his first 7 foul shots, but missed the most recent one, and that is the 5th foul on Minifield. So his evening is done.
A really good possession by GCC and a nice pass by Samir Crosby. You saw the defense shift to one side. Kennedy stays here, gets forgotten about, left on the backside, and then doing a nice job absorbing that contact and going into the body of Minifield.
2 shots here for Kennedy. If he hits either one, Centurions will be in front. One more for the senior. Kennedy hits them both. A timeout taken. It is 72-70. And Jack, for Serra Catholic, down by 2. Plenty of time left. What's the game plan?
Personally, I'm getting the ball in the hands of Isaiah Petty. Last possession that he scored on, he had Samir Crosby, the freshman, on him. You could tell that in his eyes he wanted that matchup. He took full advantage of it. I'm expecting Petty to come out, try and run something. If he can get to the basket, take it all the way. But I do think that DeMoss could very well be an option, especially on the perimeter, and his ability to shoot the ball and to shoot at such a deep range as well. GCC, they have to make sure that they contain Petty, they keep him in front at all times, but also high hand closeout on all shooters and no wide open threes, and also no fouls either.
Well, I was going to say, if you're Serra, do you have a preference between trying to get a 2 or trying to get a 3 here?
If you, again, I think if the 2 presents itself, you want to take whatever basket comes to you. You don't want to try and force anything. So if the layup is there, take it. If the 3 is there, take it. But I do think that with 32 seconds, there's no shot clock. You have the whole entire possession if you want. Try and get something at the basket. They've been playing really well. I don't know if you want to gamble and go for the win and try and bank it on with a 3. So personally, I try and tie it, get a good defensive stop, and see happens if it goes into an extra quarter.
Serra with that Minifield, who's fouled out, but he wasn't much of an offensive threat, just 2 points in this one, and he averages less than 2 on the season. So I don't think it's a big drop-off on offense, and they have Burke out there who is in double figures with 11 off the bench.
This is a big matchup here for the freshman Samir Crosby.
Petty looking to his head coach for instructions on when to go. To DeMoss. Back to Petty. He looks at the clock. 15 seconds. Now they're stuck a little bit. Petty to the cup for 2. Off. Rebound. Serra has it. They won't get a shot off, and the Centurions win it in a thriller. Serra Catholic took a lot of time to get into that shot. Petty could not finish, and even though the ball was up for grabs, they never got another shot at the rim. as the Centurions survive at home.
And you look at the play and how it kind of unfolded, it looked like they wanted that three. They wanted to go for the win, but GCC smartly game planning for that. And you know, we talked a little bit with Coach Highland and emailed with him before the game. He said, got to close out on shooters, got to take away the three-point shot, and they did exactly that. Serra Catholic may be in that situation again. You go and play for the tie. You know that this GCC team is most likely going to try and anticipate that three-point shot, go for the tie, and get a big defensive stop and extend the game, but instead they try to go for the three. Play breaks down. Great defense by GCC and a big win for them in section.
Certainly a big win, much needed after they suffered that road loss at Riverview. As you see the excitement in the final seconds. It was a game mostly about offense, Jack, but in the end it came down to 30 seconds of good defense for the home team.
And also on top of that, came down to Tyree Turner for GCC, picking up his play the last part of the second half. Came up with a big basket a few possessions ago, and as a result, really was the difference down the stretch. Give a lot of credit to this GCC team, and also a lot of credit to Jaden Kennedy. He was another one that stepped up tremendously in this second half. Got some big baskets to go, got that three to roll in. That was, I think, very, very pivotal. And going back to what you said at the end of the third quarter, with Ryan Kimball making that layup, I do think that that was a big momentum shift for them, but they carried with them into the fourth quarter when they opened up in that fourth quarter with the first basket.
72-70, Centurions win this one. We'll take a break, come back with the postgame, including some interviews with GCC as they get their first section win. It comes at home by 2 over Serra. We'll continue with more right here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
If you had to file an insurance claim, would your insurance coverage score a touchdown, or would you be sacked for a financial loss? At Stevenson Insurance Associates, you'll call the right play when it comes to your insurance coverage. Don't fumble the opportunity to score points with our customer service and superior low-cost policies. You need to make the right call to Stevenson Insurance Associates at 724-832-9889.
Have you or someone you know committed to play a sport at the next level? Let us know by emailing info@westmorelandsports.com so we can add you to our WSN College Commitment page. Our unique page features a list of current Westmoreland County student athletes that have made a verbal or written commitment to play a sport in college. No matter what sport at what level, our College Commitment page has you covered. Check it out next time you visit westmorelandsports.com.
We know speaking with your teen or your young adult about drugs and alcohol can be challenging, but is necessary. Remember to have a conversation, not a confrontation. Establish good communications, break through barriers, and be firm but loving. Here are some helpful tips. Choose a good place and time to chat. Talk with openness. Actively listen. Offer empathy and support. For more information, visit us online at wedacinc.org. Westmoreland Drug and Alcohol Commission. Prevention is key.
The Collision Shop by Jason Mignone is your one-stop shop for all things auto body repair. Our experienced technicians and state-of-the-art facilities have you covered on both passenger and heavy-duty vehicle repairs, including scratches, scrapes, and dents, free estimates, body repairs, welding, refinishing, glass replacement, and more. Our all-new alignment and calibration shop has the tooling, equipment, and staffing to ensure top-quality alignment and calibration adjustments for your vehicle. Our friendly office staff is more than happy to assist you through every step of your vehicle's repair process. Visit the Collision Shop by Jason for our complete list of services.
Right now at Smale Kia, take $500 off any in-stock or incoming 2023 Kia Solar Forte, or lease a 2023 Kia Forte LXS for just $295 a month. A fair price all the time. At Smale Kia, you never have to worry about the ugly three. No sly market adjustments, no creepy addendum, no fancy surcharges. Avoid the ugly three and be free. Shop Smale Kia, where you never pay more than MSRP.
Back here at Greensburg Central Catholic, where the Centurions secured a 72-70 victory over Serra, getting a stop at the buzzer to win this one at home with the victory. GCC now gets to 500 overall at 3-3 and 500 in section play. They are 1-1. Let's look at this last defensive possession again, Jack.
Yeah, just really nice defense, especially on the perimeter by GCC. And really, I mean, not the worst shot that Petty got on the end of that one. Again, not the most ideal, obviously, but...
Did they go too late?
I think that they went too late because of how good this defense was, and you can tell the ball stayed on this side of the floor the entire time. Their spacing was not very good, and as a result, they did have a lot of success at times with that weave action, and as a result, Petty does slip past the defense a little bit, but really I think there was too much congestion on that near side, not enough room, not enough spacing, and as a result, GCC, they did what they had to do. They just had to defend in front. They kept their man in front. They did exactly that.
There's a lot of different ways to look at that, and we're going to be joined by Christian Highland and believe one of his players as well momentarily. But to me, that's what you do in terms of Serra got the ball around, 32 seconds. And so they really got into their offense with about 6 seconds left in terms of getting to the hoop. I think that makes sense if it's a tie game. They were down by 2, and I think if you run the clock all the way down in that scenario, then I was thinking they're going to take a 3 to try to win it then, because by not scoring there, you pretty much guarantee that you're going to lose the game. If you had gone with 15 seconds and don't score, well, then you could play the foul game and potentially get the basketball back. And it was not a double bonus scenario for GCC on the other side. It would have been a 1-and-1 scenario. So that's the drawback to waiting that long, is that if you don't score, you're going to lose the game. If you hit a 2, you're still having to go to overtime. So to me, if you hold it that late, then your best bet and probably the most logical outcome would be to try to take a 3 to win it via like a walk-off.
I think that what they tried to do, again, that 3 was that first option that they wanted. I think that, like you said, they got into the offense, the real offense of it too late. I mean, they kind of went into the weave action from 32 seconds till about 16 seconds, and then Petty looks up, he takes a little bit of a survey, and
we saw him look back at the clock. And
I think that, again, he's probably, I'm sure head coach A.J. Corso told him at a certain time, start making your move to initiate that offense. But I think the other thing of it is, if you go and play for the tie, you have to make sure that there isn't enough time on the clock still for GCC to then take it the length of the court and go down and fire off a shot on their end. So it's one of those where, like you said, I'm guessing, I don't know, but I'm guessing they were going for that 3, and they were playing for that 3. They got it in the hands of their top 3-point shooter in Joey DeMoss, but with how well they were driving the ball and how well at times that they were defending it really in the second half especially, and how well of a job they did on Tyree Turner in that second half, again, maybe you go with maybe you go with the tie, and as a result, if you go with the tie, you trust your defense, you take it into overtime, but nonetheless, a big victory for GCC.
Well, Christian Highland making his way over here. He's joined by Tyree Turner. So we will hear from them momentarily. We'll take Christian first. And so the head coach of Greensburg Central Catholic now joins us. And Christian, first off, I know that this was a game that certainly came down to the wire. When you look at a game like this and a final possession where basically it was you had to play 30 seconds of defense. If you get the stop, you're going to win, and that's exactly what you guys did. How do you tell your team to defend that, and what's sort of the mindset heading into that final stretch?
I mean, that's our MO is defense. It's not always going to be pretty, but we got speed, we have length, and we have guys that just compete. And I thought for 30, 35 seconds, that's what we were doing. We were switching screens hard, really making them uncomfortable. And that was a great 35 seconds of basketball on defense there. So that's something that we should watch over and over again.
Your team really struggled offensively, especially from distance in that loss at Riverview. Now, I don't think you necessarily shot it scorching from behind the arc, but you had the offense overall clicking at a pretty high rate to get into the 70s. What maybe was different here tonight?
I thought early, we got some stops and were able to get out and run a little bit. Second quarter, we didn't get any stops, so that's kind of where we slowed down that second quarter, allowed them to get out and ahead of us. And then, third quarter, they were running that, face guard on 13 here. And, used him as a screener a little bit. and opened up some things for some guys inside like Franco Alvarez, and tried to just get to the rim as much as we could.
Another player that was really big for you tonight, Ryan Kimmel. He came up big in a lot of ways that really don't show up on the stat sheet. Talk about what he's meant to this team, to this program, and just also what he means out on the floor when it's not necessarily showing up in the stat sheet, but it's the little things that he does.
Yeah, absolutely. We weren't sure if we were going to get him to start the year, and we talked and we begged and we pleaded to just get him around and come check it out, because he didn't play with us last year. And he, like you said, he does all the little things that every coach loves. Diving on the floor for loose balls, getting that 50-50 ball, he's coming out with it. So just that mental toughness and physicality brings a whole different edge that we've really never had before.
He hit a big layup right at the end of the third quarter, and then you guys come into the fourth quarter and score immediately. How big was that layup from Kimmel to carry with you into that fourth quarter?
Yeah, just a nice little steal, and a throw ahead, and just to get from cut it to 4-2 to end the quarter, and just get a little bit of momentum moving in to the fourth quarter. That's big. Anytime you can swing like a 4-point swing like that is big. So.
And you mentioned momentum. It's kind of a weird time of year because you've now played 2 consecutive section games, and then you're going to go back into the Christmas break, and you're going to be playing non-section games before you started up in early January. Is it a little difficult as a coach kind of going back and forth between playing 2 really crucial section games, then going back to the non-section and then having to gear up for that stretch run?
It's a little different. It's not something that we're totally accustomed to, but it's good. It's not great for section play because you're still working out some kinks early, but you just got to compete and you got to get after it. And I thought that's what these guys did today. And we got another tough one on Thursday against Hempfield, and we'll have another tough one against Bishop Guilfoyle over at Greensburg. So a couple tough matchups here in a row, but stuff like this in a section matchup that's tough, builds up, and you can get better from that against those non-section games.
I got to get Tyree before he gets tackled out of the gymnasium. But Christian, thanks for doing
this. All right,
this.
guys, thanks for coming out.
Thanks, Coach.
Christian Highland. We now welcome in his star player tonight, Tyree Turner, who gets 23 points. Now, let's be honest, a lot of that came in the first half. You had 19 of your 23. What was working so well, especially out of the gate for you tonight?
I think just getting in transition, and not letting them set up on their defense. That was the tough part. They threw a lot of guys at me, but just being able to go in transition, they can't get set up, and that really worked in the first half. So,
4 of the 5 starters, including yourself, played football together. I'm assuming that makes it a little easier. What's that chemistry like with these guys that you were, especially as a quarterback, throwing to or relying upon so much during football season?
It's huge. I mean, Samir, I threw to him. Kimmel was blocking for me. Jaden obviously was a running back and pretty much everything. So just knowing that they have my back and I have their back, I mean, that's huge on the court. You got to know where guys are, and we just kind of have a feel for the game. Transition, we're always giving, and just unselfish play. And it's just great to have teammates that you play for, football and basketball. So.
There's a couple drives in that first half, a couple buckets that you scored, and just your reaction, you could tell this game meant a lot to you, a lot to your teammates, I'm sure, and especially with it being a section opponent and so early on in the season. How much did this matchup mean to you guys and your team, but also you individually?
I think as a team it meant a lot, and losing our first game it's tough in the section, so to come back and win at home, it's huge. And then for me, last year they beat us here, and that kind of drove me today, just playing harder and harder as hard as I could, knowing certain guys were here from last year, so that's really what drove me.
You really got to the lane at will tonight, especially in that first half. What were you seeing in that defense, and what were they doing to you that you were able to take full advantage of?
I think really just they had their first guy on me really close, so if I could get past him, then now I could just drive through, and that was really the big thing. They helped really well, but they just were never in true position to get in the lane, so it was always a foul or a layup every time. So.
I know you're still just a junior, but you started since your freshman year. You played in a WPIAL championship game, and you and Franco were the only real key contributors who returned from last year. Do you feel like you took on a bigger role during the offseason and now into the season as a leader on this squad?
I think so. Just playing with guys that haven't played in a long time, it's a lot harder, but at the same time, it's a motivation for us in the season. Everybody's doubting us, and so I think they feed off that, and helping, bring it all together. That's kind of what I try to do, and Franco as well. So.
Well, lastly, what are the goals this season for GCC?
Just to win. Go to the championship. A lot of people don't think we will, but I have faith in us, and I think we can do it. So.
Well, you won tonight. Go enjoy this one. Congrats on the victory.
Appreciate it.
Congrats, Tyree. Thanks for joining.
Tyree Turner.
Stop it.
23 points to lead the way, getting some love from his teammate Jaden Kennedy as well. Let's look at the scoring numbers very quickly.